All right, so how do you make how do you make a 25th year anniversary blog post interesting? I'll admit it's hard, but starting out 25 years of Liberty Capital, a journey of growth, learning, and community. Wow, isn't that sweet? Um, but it's really boring. As Liberty Capital celebrates its 25th anniversary, we thought it would be useful to reflect on the journey that has brought us to this milestone. All right, so now I'm like, this is going to be boring, right? I'm not going to read any more of this. I might skim a headline and then, oh, the early days, nervous beginnings, and a valuable lesson. Oh, that's so sweet. But it's boring, right? So you can read through it and you can see, oh, someone got nervous, but then found out people were friendly. Um, Learning to listen. Oh, I realized that I was too anxious and to make the sale and I didn't listen. But what I found in here though was these were real stories, right? This is a real story of someone being nervous in a networking event. And this is a real story of someone not signing a prospect and getting the good advice back that this person seemed too anxious to have them as a client. So the best approach is to ask and listen, not talk and talk. That's something you can use. I'm trying to figure out, how do you teach people to think like this? How do you teach people how to write copy and make it better? You're looking for something that's true, and you're going to bring that truth to the top. I'm going to show you what I mean in a minute. But annual conferences, okay, different backgrounds, different strengths and viewpoints. Okay, you're saying all the things you're supposed to say, and nobody knows if you mean it or not because this is what everybody says. Oh, it's about team, pioneering a new concept. Okay, so here was a hard one. This is a serious one. This is a new franchise model for, and that was something they invented. So it's like, well, all right, so now they dropped this serious thing in here with all these like fun anecdotes. Uh, so now what do I do with that? Remembering those who shaped us. Oh, isn't that sweet? Actually, one of their people died. Actually, since I've been working with them, I met him one time on a call, but anyway, it's like it's sad. He was a really well respected guy and everything, but what do I do with that? And then you have, but then there was this lawyer who looked at their um he looked at their documents and was so impressed that he decided to join this company, Liberty Capital. By the way, I changed the name. It's not really Liberty Capital. So he decided to join the team and he's still there. And so, and then they have these conferences and it's like, oh, great. Oh, sorry, I got the COVID. Um, great. They had a conference in Montreal, the sunrise hike at Mount Royal. Great. Shared experiences, peaceful sunrise. Oh, that's so sweet. But then they had a helicopter have to search and rescue them. That's kind of awesome, right? But then in the article here, it's like just goes right into as we celebrate 25. Like, that's awesome. Like, bring that to the front, right? Find a way. And then down here, it's just like, oh, these stories remind us that our success is more than just financial transaction. It's relationships, it's shared experiences. Boring, guys, boring. So, so what do we need to do? All right. Well, we said there's some things in here we can work with, right? There's this nervous beginnings and a valuable lesson. That just sounds like a story from when I was a kid, right? Um, so let's look at that. Well, let's look at the first paragraph. As Liberty Capital celebrates its 25th anniversary, boring. Let's look at what we changed it to. Where are we? Up here. As we celebrate our 25 years, we'd love to highlight our accomplishments, but instead, let's take a highlight. I said blather on about our accomplishments, but instead, put this through GPT to anonymize it, and it does stuff, or Claude or whatever. Anyway, but instead, let's take a slightly more no, I didn't write that. That's not what I wrote. I need to fix this. Let's take a slightly more humorous route. No, that's stupid. Um, I would not call out that it should not have changed that. I did not mean for it to change that. Anyway, let me find out what I said and I'll read it to you. Stand by. Stand by for what we ended up with. Okay, as we celebrate 25 years, we'd like to blather on about our accomplishments, but instead, let's take a slightly more embarrassing route and talk about the reality of growing business through the eyes of our team. Okay, let's see if they messed this up. When deodorant isn't enough. So I was just looking at it and I was like, you know what? What happens when you're nervous? Well, you sweat. And when sometimes you need antiperspirant, right? So sometimes deodorant will do, other times you really need the antiperspirant. One of our longtime team members recalls that I didn't even change that. I left that the same, left the quote the same, just changed some typos. And then the lesson, people are mostly friendly if you're friendly with them, and they didn't need the antiperspirant after all. No, that's not what I said. And she didn't need the antiperspirant after all. Oh, that's why. That's why they put they, because they anonymized it like I asked them to. All right. So let's so the next one is what was it? Learning to listen was the headline before. The new headline, there's a reason we have two ears and one mouth. Of course, not any, yeah, I didn't change that. And then the takeaway, the best approach is to ask, talk, and not talk and talk and talk. Cool. Um, building a community, the annual conferences. So I said this. We built a community. So I don't know if they'll like that, but we'll see. Um, these gatherings weren't just about business; they were about forging connections and creating a shared vision for the future. Yeah, okay, that's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Um, and then pioneering a new concept. Why isn't the scrolling? Pioneering a new okay, there we go. Okay, now let's see what I wrote here. We've pioneered a new business model. Okay, so here's the honest truth. I didn't just start with knowing this, then this, then this. What I ended up doing was I was like, boring, boring. And then I was like, oh, wait. Um, this here's a story about how this lawyer decided he liked liquid capital so much he wanted to join. Did I say? Anyway, Liberty Capital. So much they wanted to join. We so I just put we've even sniped the occasional lawyer, right? Like we've done these things. And then I was like, all right, well, now we have a theme. We've done this. And so I went back and I changed these, right? Like I don't want to act like I know what I'm doing too much, right? I mean, I don't want to act like I just go through and nail these because I don't. We've pioneered a new business model. We've hired leaders from other industries. I mean, that's cool. It's not great, but it's cool. And then let's look at the end. Remembering those who shaped us. Praise an outsider's perspective. That's the one I changed to. We've even hired leaders from other industries. Conference adventures from sunrise to rescue missions, right? And then remember, we went right into the summary here without any kind of title there. And I wanted to change that. So what do we write? Conference adventures. We've had to call search and rescue. Which is the truth, because they told the story where they called search and rescue. So like, yeah, it's exactly what you're thinking. Our conferences are no joke. Here's the boring one, but then we went to Arizona and had to call the helicopter. The helicopter. At a conference, someone fell, the sun rose, temperature climbed, and all this stuff, and the firefighters and helicopters came, right? 25 years changes you. So now I can justify writing this, and it's like an understatement, right? It's like an understated, like, wait, you had to call search and rescue? Yeah, I'm sure 25 years did change you. So, especially when it involves helicopters and deodorant. But one thing is for certain, our success is built on more than just financial transactions. And then I left a lot of that stuff. And then I said, we'll pass on the rescue helicopters, right, in the future. So that's where we ended up. Just wanted to walk through this, trying to figure out how to teach it. But really, you just have to really find the interesting things. You have to find what they give you and find the truth, and then make the most interesting part of the story stand out, make that the top thing. And then that's how you make something interesting. And so we'll see if they buy it, because like I said, they built a cult, right? Like, are they gonna buy that? Are they gonna be that self-deprecating? I mean, it's gonna be funny, and people are gonna like it, and they're gonna read it. That's the point. So 25 years of Liberty Capital helicopters and life lessons, right? Um, yeah. All right. So I hope that helped a little bit, kind of going through the process and just looking at what it looks like to try to find something creative to turn something boring into something clever.